Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday, and welcome back to Sin City Crypto Live. My name is David. I'll be one of your co-hosts, and today, like every single weekday, we are coming at you live from our studio here in the heart of Las Vegas, Nevada, with our daily live show. Today's content, we are talking about Gala Games. The name of the mobile studio they have bought has been released. It is Ember Entertainment. We'll talk about what that means and whether Gala is in the driver's seat. Also, Gemini officially ends their Earn program. What does that mean for Gemini Earn users who had their money locked up? And the Winklevoss twins have also penned another open letter, but this time to the board of governors for a digital currency group. They want Barry Silbert out. Also, we have news that Coinbase has laid off 900 employees, marking 25% of their workforce now going to be laid off by the end of Q1 this year. We'll talk about that and much, much more. But before we talk about that and much, much more, I'd like to introduce you to your other co-host. Hello, Robin.
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we are an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take the old, the boring, the stale information and package it up in a fun and sexy way. Also, here at Sin City Crypto, we like to evaluate the price of Bitcoin, which is actually breaking out. We are mooning. We are hitting. Yes, we are. 17,400, up a whole $100 than we were earlier when we were doing Ben's channel. You know what that means, right? Your boy put on the horse, baby. Let's go.
You know, it's like every day with you is Halloween because you just act like a clown.
We broke out, man. We broke out.
Really, Rocco? That wasn't funny? You're a hater, bro. You're a hater. I don't like Rocco anymore. Rocco's pissing me off.
Oh, man. Hey, we got Anthony Barbacoa back in here.
It's Anthony Barbatsul.
That's right.
Anyways,
Jerome Powell spoke today. The markets are still stable.
Yeah, because he didn't say anything of value.
Mm.
So, you know what is of value, though, is so today I officially showcased my finger tornado to the Bit Squad. So if you're from the Bit Squad, if you're from Ben's channel, say hello. We'd love to welcome you personally. Also, if you're new here, like Crunk C is new here every single show, say that you're new here and we'll drop an all-off for you as well. But there's not just Davis finger tornado. There aren't just the Mother Nature tornadoes. There are also dog tornadoes. Now, you might ask yourself, well, what does a dog tornado look like? Well, thanks to Billy Marcus, who's the founder of Dogecoin, this is a dog tornado. So, who's the better tornado? Is it the David tornado? Is it the dog tornado? Is it the Mother Nature tornado? That remains to be seen.
Definitely the dog tornado.
It's a dog tornado?
Yeah.
Yeah, that dog tornado was pretty cool. The dog tornado was actually pretty cool. I'll give you. All right, but my finger tornado is also very cool as well. It's also patented. I wanted to remind everyone of that. Also, Robin, we did go to CES. You spent a little more time there than I did, as I had some other stuff I had to take care of. But did you get a chance to see this, my friend? This is Ella, which is also my daughter's name. Ella, if you're watching, I love you. The world's first self-driving stroller. The self-driving feature only works when you take your kid out of the stroller, meant for your hands are full. It costs $3,800, and well, this is what it looks like. And so, Robin, I ask you, if you were to ever have a newborn again, is this something that you would buy?
I just feel like it's going to randomly take a left turn and then
go into the street.
It's the smartest stroller in the world.
So,
it is occupied. And
you know, Robin always says, not everything needs blockchain. And I'll tell you, not everything needs digital innovation like a freaking baby stroller. And so,
That's
yeah.
so cute.
Yeah, there was a lot of cool things at CES. Rob, what was the coolest thing you saw at CES?
Oh, man. You know what it was for me? Was the color changing car. Did you see that? The paint job is digital. So it kind of has a digital wrap on the whole car, and so you could put
I can also wrap.
You could put your face or avatar on the car, for example. It's not just colors; it's pretty much anything. So you can put logos on there. You can change the color. Anyways, I got a little preview here. So this is what it looks like.
But please don't call her just a car. You will hurt her feelings.
Yeah, it's
She likes to
BMW.
think
It's not non-binary?
herself as a promise,
None.
a commitment,
Like
or
my
even
ship.
better, a companion.
So what's so special about D?
Yeah.
Well, this. She can change color, pattern, whatever. And it's got Arnold's seal of approval.
The bottom line is technology can solve all the biggest
This is BMW?
problems.
Yeah.
It can change the world. And
can
like you've
change
just
the
seen,
world.
it can be really, really
Okay,
fun.
how is it going to change
However, the
the
car's
world?
engineers say it's about more than just fun. Colors can absorb or reflect light, meaning a dark color in the winter or a lighter colored one in the summer can make all the difference if you're trying to control the inside temperature. The
you're trying
vehicle
to run
also
away from the
features a
cops.
heads-up display for the driver, which extends across the
I wonder if
entire
you can like
windshield.
camouflage
BMW
into like a
says
brick
these
wall
features
when you're
will
like
be
trying to
used
flee
on
the
many
cops.
of its
You know what I mean?
vehicles
Like,
by 20.
like they just pass you like.
This car's got
And they're
utility,
like,
guys.
It was a yellow
This car's
car,
got
I
utility.
swear. Sir, officer, my car is clearly red.
That's funny. That's actually not a bad point. What if, is it going to be a thing for criminals to like do something? Well, yeah, it was a yellow Ford this, and then all of a sudden now it's a purple checkered car or something. That's actually an interesting point.
And it was validated by Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's the one. He was out there. The governor.
The governor, California. Speaking of California, man, I got some family out there. I know there's some crazy stuff. We talked to Ben about this. There's a lot of flooding going on, man. There's literally streets that are underwater. So if you're out in California, have family out in California, hope you're all safe and sound. Insane. I think they were getting 1.5 inches of rain every hour, which if you know anything about California, they were not prepared. They are not prepared for that amount of rain. So hopefully stay safe, guys. If you have family or if you live out there yourself, we are thinking about you. All right, Robin.
¿Qué pasa?
Take it away.
Tornado already?
No, that's
I was about to.
it's a spiral.
You did this
Spiral into the crypto markets. What do we do?
Calm
I
down,
don't
okay?
understand now.
All right. So taking a look at the markets, as
Robin
we
said he didn't
mentioned
understand.
when we first came on, 17,400. So jokes aside, it is a little bit of a breakout.
It's not a breakout.
It is. You don't consider that giant green candle a breakout?
Oh wow, we went from 17,300 to 17,400. We're breaking out. Holy moly, I don't know what to do.
This is a breakout, man.
Oh my god, the bull market's back.
What do you expect it to move? Like $1,000?
You say breakout, that's at least 10-15%. Not half a quarter of a percent.
10, 50. So a breakout is $2,000. So Bitcoin going to
18,500, 19,000 would be a breakout, yes.
Okay. Anyways, in my book, it's a breakout, and David, it's not. Bitcoin is moving.
Yeah, 0.36%, guys. It's breaking out. Huge move here. Said no one ever.
So, taking a look, Ethereum at 13,000 or $1,336, and also some of the biggest gainers today. We have Woo Network. Woo. Woo. All right, and then we got Aptos as well, Holo and GMX Chili's all rounding out the top 5
Aptos up
gainers.
50%.
And then some of the biggest losers, BitDAO, Gala having a retracement today. This is up 150% for the week. So still in massive profit area here on the 7-day. This was at a penny not even 2 weeks ago, and now sitting over 4 cents. So monster movement on Gala, which we're gonna get into a little bit of a Gala discussion. We like Gala. We like we like what they're offering. We like their games, and seem to be the front runner in
the progress they're making.
blockchain gaming. So, and then just to take a quick peek, we do have the Fear and Greed Index coming in at 26, and the stock market is relatively flat when you're considering the fact that Jerome Powell was making a speech today. And so,
are you surprised he spent a lot of time talking about the climate as a Fed chair?
Yeah, man, it's interesting.
The only reason the whole price stability thing came up was because it wasn't in his prepared speech. It was actually a question he was asked.
So I will say this, is that commodities, particularly the energy sector, has been one of the heaviest weighing factors when it comes to CPI, and CPI dictates a lot of what the Fed is going to do. And so should you consider green energy and especially policy that is driven to adopt these solar, wind, and all that? It's a factor. How much does Jerome Powell have expertise in that field? I don't think he has much, but it's definitely something that's on the table. Because here's the thing: if you don't have the infrastructure for green energy, and yet you're putting in legislation to remove carbon, like gasoline-based cars, all of these carbon negative emissions is kind of where they're trying to go. So I don't know. I think I'm not surprised, put it that way, but I don't think he can speak on it like from a professional standpoint.
He was more like, hey, we are not climate policymakers. And actually, I'm just talking about, here you go, from CNBC. So outside of the whole climate thing, he did say Powell said Fed might have to make unpopular decisions to stabilize prices. He also said in other remarks, a central bank leader said the Fed is not and will not be a climate policy maker. I guess he was referring to, hey, if we're asked to, I don't know, contribute somehow from our standpoint and our toolkit to climate change or green energy, we're not going to do it. And so I thought that was a foregone conclusion. He said, unless, of course, they pass some sort of sweeping regulation. But Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell on Tuesday emphasized the need for the central bank to be free of political influence while it tackles persistently high inflation. Powell noted that stabilizing prices requires making tough decisions that can be unpopular politically. He added, quote, the absence of direct political control over our decisions allows us to take these necessary measures without considering short-term political factors, which I kind of call BS on because back in 2018, Mr. Powell was starting to raise interest rates at a very slow and steady pace, about a quarter percentage points every 3 months or so, or whatever the pace was. And then Donald Trump called him into his office and said, hey, man, all I've been saying for 6 months straight is how strong our economy is, and you are about to ruin it. Please stop. And of course, out of that meeting, Jerome Powell did stop hiking interest rates. Wants to know if he would have kept to his word and done what he says in this article, that political opinions do not sway us. Well, pretty sure it's a foregone conclusion that at that time it did. So who's to say he won't do it again? Do you believe, and yes, the Fed is not controlled by any politicians. Nothing affects the Fed, their own separate entity. But do you buy into the fact that political influence doesn't have anything to do with their monetary policy?
It's supposed to be separated powers. So on paper, they're not supposed to, but realistically, they do. You can look at the Supreme Court and the justices that are appointed by the president or elected by the president and then voted on by Congress. As an example, they elect certain people, both in Supreme Court, if you're going to keep with that example, to push their own personal narratives, the party's narratives. Same can be said for the head of the SEC, the Fed chair. Remember, the head of the SEC, Gary Gensler, was appointed by the current presidential cabinet. So Biden put our favorite guy in office as the head of the SEC.
Who that?
Gary the Gun.
Gary the Gun.
And now who didn't? Now Jerome Powell was not appointed, which is actually kind of breaks the typical trend.
Yes.
Jerome Powell was not appointed.
He was appointed by Donald
Biden,
Trump.
but he was appointed by Trump, and because
him.
Biden didn't want to shake up the economy during the 2020 when he got elected, he stuck with Jerome Powell, which was outside of the normal protocol, at least looking at history. So that's kind of interesting.
Do you think that was a good decision?
Honestly, outside of crypto, my own personal thoughts on Jerome Powell and how he's handled inflation. Obviously, in hindsight, you can always say, hey, you could have done a better job. But, if I was president and I was taking over for someone else with the economic situation we have, it is probably a good bet to not change the Fed chair. That is pretty dramatic could scare the markets. And at that time when he took office, markets were in a shaky place. So
especially now. Now that the investors kind of have an idea of Jerome Powell and what he's going to do, and kind of have an idea of his policy stance, I guess, to just completely change that now would be the markets would react, whether good or bad. Robin, we have a special request. Clay said, "Hola, first time asking for a hola."
okay, well, I was just about to get into that. So a little love for the chat here. We do got A Train, Kevin P, Crunk C. First time here for him. Jeff Harbos, Brooke, Adam Lyons, D, Dan, T, Clay, Ashley Fleming, to all of you. Hola! Welcome, Sin City Crypto.
Now we know Kyler's last name.
Yeah, that's my wife.
Oh,
Ashley, welcome. Thank you so much. Is this her first time watching?
No, she watches. This is her first time talking to the chat.
What's up, Ashley? If you have any questions for Kyler or for me or Robin, please feel free to ask.
he's like, when are you coming home? Pick up some eggs. Good luck finding them.
Eggs are expensive. There was a video on people dealing eggs like they're dealing drugs or weighing each egg on a micro scale. Anyways,
I went to Costco. They had no eggs, bro.
dude, it's rough. out there,
Costco.
bro.
They didn't have any.
Let's start buying some chickens and growing our own eggs.
I've thought about it.
Also, A-Train said, hola. What's up, A-Train? How you doing, bro? If you're
Chris,
guys,
what's up, Chris?
If you plan on investing in eggs or any other chicken byproducts, put a 1 in the chat. If you are hodling your eggs and not selling those, put a 2 in the chat.
what are you talking about? All right, now back to what you came here for, which
Model
is
the eggs.
cryptocurrency. Well,
My
first,
eggs are drying up.
okay. So, all right, I'm not even gonna go there. What I want you hold on, put the camera on me. What I want the viewer to understand, what I want you guys to understand is one thing. Every single person at Sin City Crypto, all the people that work here, we all come from the restaurant industry. And if you've ever worked in the restaurant industry, you know we have foul mouths. We have foul thoughts and foul jokes. And for me to not make a joke on that comment, I want you to know how much willpower it took. And so I just want to pat myself on the back.
Spare everybody a bad joke. Thank you.
You see this, bro?
Yeah.
Kyler, I'm not crazy, right? There is definitely bias in the studio. Is there not?
Hey, man.
That was a yes.
There's a yeah.
Or or could just be an overwhelming consensus. That
No,
you're
it
just
could be
not
an
funny.
overwhelming consensus that Rocco is always on your side for some reason. Guys, if you think there's a bias against me between Robin and Rocco on the show, put a 1 in the chat.
There is a lot.
I can't be the only one.
Just so y'all know, we do got a large number of 2s hodling eggs. So
Ding Dong Daddy
add it
put
to your
7.
portfolio.
Eggs about the moon.
Yeah, with moon and eggs. All right. All jokes aside, so some more macro news for you guys. Also, shout out to Magic Internet Money. He's been watching our show almost every day. We love Magic Internet Money. If you're not subscribed to him, please go subscribe. Bleeding Crypto. So, from Watcher Guru, just in, the U.S. House passes bill to cut funding for the 87,000 new IRS agents. Of course, if you see, people agree with me, bro. 1. Thank you, guys.
And what's the club limit today?
Who's in there?
What's the what?
Club limit.
300, same.
300?
Yeah. So,
No, not a 2.
no, there's like 3 2s.
A lot of 2.
Those
You have a
2s don't
different
count.
count.
Those are bots. Rusty Bot is a bot. Giga Chat did twice. That doesn't count. So, okay. The new when the Democrats had control of the House and the Senate, aka Congress, when you combine those two, they passed a new bill to fund 87,000 new IRS agents, which a lot of people were like, well, you know what that means? That means they're coming after us. They're going to start auditing us, especially the crypto people. And now the U.S. House passes a bill to cut that funding, but will the Senate pass it as well? And after the Senate passes it, if they do, Joe Biden can still veto it. So something to keep an eye on, I guess. But you should be following the law as far as doing taxes. The last thing you want to do is be in jail with bad people for tax evasion. It's not something you want to do.
Hey, straight 180 on them, huh?
Well, it's the House.
Yeah, your boy ain't claiming no crypto on his taxes next year. How you doing?
Yeah, doing great. So, all right. So we saw something last year that we've never seen in the history of Bitcoin. And that is all 4 quarters in the red. Every single one in 2022 was red. We have never seen this. The most we've seen is 3 quarters, which happened twice back in 2014 and 2018. Those were the bear markets. So after looking at this, Robin, was 2022 the worst bear market we have ever seen? And are we out of the woods?
For a percentage drawdown, no. For consecutive quarters, obviously, yes. And you know what else is down? Our freaking like ratio here. We only got 50 likes. What's going on here, guys? That's less than 1/3. That's like 28%. It means 1 out of every 4 people have not hit the like button.
Wow, that means 2 out of every 8 people.
And we got to thank Jessica for the sign.
Yes.
Yeah, we had thanked her yesterday, but we'll thank her again. Jessica, thank you so much. She also said we have another sign coming today. I'm excited.
We will not proceed with this show till we get the likes up. Thank you.
Yes, we will. Proceeding with the show. All right. So let me ask you this question. So after 2014, let's go back. Let's go back to this chart, Rocco. After 2014, we saw red, green, red, green. After 2018, we saw green, green, and then 2 reds to end the quarter. What do you expect to see if we're just thinking out loud here and we're speculating? What do you expect to see? Do you expect to see all 4 green quarters? Do you expect to see alternating? Do you expect to see more of a run in the beginning or the end?
I expect to see what happened in 2019. So looking at those numbers there, we were pretty close to 4 red quarters in 2018. So look at 2018, red, 3%. And so that was almost baseline, red again. And then we flipped 2 green months, 2 green quarters, 2 red quarters. I think we're going to pretty much print the same thing. 2 green, 2 red, or maybe 3 green, 1 red. Maybe. But yeah.
Interesting.
I don't think we're gonna have the bull-like run where you see we're in 2017, it's all green.
Yeah.
2020, 3
huge.
green. Yeah.
It was 3. There were huge gains.
Yeah, that last one, 168%.
Even in
growth.
2017, man, leading into the 2018 bull market, we saw gains of over 100% twice. So, interesting. What do you guys think? Are we going to see more green in the first 2 quarters or the last 2 quarters? Let us know. First 2, last 2. Also, someone said the likes are down because you don't read the comments. We do read the comments. What are you saying, Channing? Just because we don't read your comment? I'm just kidding. We do try to be a little more active in the chat. So to you guys, we will try to be a little more active in the chat. All right. So we talked about this on Ben's show today, and I feel like it's important to talk about here on our show as well, in case you weren't in Ben's show. But this is the VIX. So there was an article we covered this morning about how the VIX moves. So if the VIX goes up, the risk on asset stock market goes down. And if the VIX goes down, vice versa. Well, we have the VIX here on the 1 day plotted against Bitcoin in orange. And you can see the resemblance here. And when the volatility index does break to the upside here, broke to the upside, we saw a downward move from Bitcoin. And when it broke to the downside, we saw an upward move in Bitcoin. And we've seen the volatility index been in a downtrend since December 22nd. And guess what? We've seen Bitcoin in the same time frame go from $16,500 to $17,500. If you're not familiar with the VIX, it essentially measures volatility 30 days ahead. Are you putting, how much thought are you putting into, or how much weight are you giving volatility index in comparison to how it affects how Bitcoin moves?
Well, I think Bitcoin, the volatility has declined over the last few months. And I think that's just because a lot of the scared money is gone. And so I don't think that the volatility is going to be quite as parallel to the VIX. And I do think it'll get back to that, following it more closely when these retail kind of pile back in. And I don't think that's going to happen till at least 6 months in of this year. So
interesting. All right. Let's get into the biggest news of the day, the theme of our show, which is Gala Games. Put a 1 in the chat if you either like Gala or you are holding any Gala tokens. We are also working on bringing someone from the Gala Games Foundation, the team, to join our show live to talk about all the fun things happening in the Gala universe. So Here we go. This is from Katoch Tubes. So Gala Crypto rides on the news of introducing mobile games to the ecosystem. Gala Games is set here. Let me make this a little bigger for you, my friends. Gala Games is all set to boost its crypto gaming ecosystem by launching mobile games. But instead of building their own, they actually bought out a mobile gaming studio with over 20 million users. This was announced on the Gala Discord server. The team further stressed upon making Gala a deflationary token to be used as a default token for the payment of gas fees on the network. Gala Games was a little background. Gala Games was founded in 2019 by Michael McCarthy and Eric Schiermeier, who was the co-founder. They were the co-founders of Zynga, and that might sound familiar as they are behind Farmville and Mafia Wars. Company operates as blockchain game partners. The team has planned to distribute 50% of the gas fee to the founder nodes and potential partners, and burn the remaining 50% to keep Gala a deflationary currency. There's a lot people have to say about the tokenomics of Gala Games. But before we get into tokenomics and price, a little bit about the gaming studio they bought, which is Ember Entertainment. They do have about, I believe, 10 to 15 games. I believe their biggest, most popular one is Empire Z. But according to our friend Matt, who loyally follows Gala and in the Discord, they are going to be putting their emphasis on Meow Match and Dragon Strike. So I personally have never played any of these games.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Ember Entertainment. So their strongest games are zombie-based games. They're actually the studio that is developing The Walking Dead. And so because they're developing The Walking Dead, obviously they had a relationship with Gala Games already. And perhaps Gala Games is like, hey, we like working with you guys. We like your portfolio. We like what you got. Why don't we just join forces? Why don't we just take some of our money and we'll buy you? And so their mobile games have not been Ember Entertainment. They haven't been at the top of the list. Yep. Now they do have a pretty decent community.
20 million users, man. That's not tiny. No, I mean it's not giant.
I'm just saying that in the mobile gaming space, they're far off the top charts. But they do have some successful franchises. They do have a lot of users plugged in. However, they're not on the scale that Candy Crush is and some of the other top games. So I never heard of any of the games on their platform until I looked into it. So
you're a fake gamer. I'm kidding.
I don't play games on the iPhone.
I'm just kidding.
I do a little bit of what was a zombie? Which one's the one with the Plants vs Zombies?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I like that one.
Oh yeah, I watched you play that on the airplane for 7 hours. So who does play a lot of games is our friend Kyler here. I know Kyler. I know we talked about Gala. You're a big Gala fan. What are your thoughts on Ember Entertainment? How much do you know about them, and what are your thoughts on Gala buying out this mobile gaming studio?
Well, it makes sense. So like Gala from the jump, kind of that's what they've been doing. So a lot of their stuff that they promote on their platform was things that they had actually acquired, like IP from other different companies. I don't know, man. It seems cool. It makes sense how they're going to incorporate tokenomics and actual like crypto into it, to where, I mean, if you look at any game system that has their own economy, they're eventually going to figure it out. So it'll be interesting to see that they're talking about creating their own chain. So I've been in Gala pretty much, not from the beginning, but like early. So like 2021, probably like September, before they had Galaverse here in Vegas, which I tried to get into. They were pretty expensive at the time, but I do have like a Gala Gold membership. I have Spider Tanks, so I was playing Spider Tanks right away. I started playing Townstar, but with Townstar, it's kind of like Farmville. So if you're playing the Farmville, if you really want to be good at it, you basically have to get these you have to get overlying software that goes over the top, and then you build out like automated systems for it. And I just didn't feel like doing that because it kind of took it away from me.
Have you played any of these Ember Entertainment games?
The Amber Entertainment games?
Yeah, so
I
you got
haven't
Survival
seen...
Z, Aqua Blast, Dragon Strike, Meow Match.
I'm telling you, they're not big games, man. Like
But the thing is, if they work and they're already set up,
most of their portfolio isn't even like most of their games. They have a few thousand downloads, so it's only a handful of games. I think this is more of a headline grabber. They're not dominant in this game as far as market share when it comes to.
But if you can incorporate the tokenomics into it, I mean, some of these maybe they already have an in-game currency, and all I have to do is just swap it over to whatever Gala uses, and then it just be part of their ecosystem. It could be a really quick.
It's a good move. I mean, you can look at Apple, for example. Some of the companies that they buy. It's just essentially just for the technology. They're not trying to, when Apple bought up the fingerprint scanner, it's not like that company was everywhere. It was something nobody knew about, but it was technology that got integrated into the Apple's hardware. You don't have to look at Ember's portfolio, look at their games, and try to justify the movement by how many people play the games. I'm just telling you, nobody plays it. Nobody plays Ember Entertainment games. I've never even heard of it. I've never seen anybody play it. Doesn't discount the partnership. The entire dev team now works for Gala. They've built out over 10 plus games, so they have experience in it. And so when they expand in that sector, it makes sense. Now, whether or not they port some of those games over, put it on the Gala blockchain, makes sense. How difficult is it? I don't know. Maybe it's better to start from scratch.
So we talked about this on the show yesterday, and you guys, or Robin said, if a AAA franchise decides to get into blockchain gaming, it's over, right? Gala doesn't stand a chance, or no one in the space stands a chance. So what does Gala have to do before someone does come in?
It's such a wide market. It's not like you have, you know what I mean? EA does not own all of, they might have the top 3 gaming franchises. If you take like some of the sports, say like FIFA, for example, and some of their shooters, but at the end of the day, you don't need a win all. You have Nintendo; they're a massive franchise. Sony is a massive franchise with all of their proprietary games that are only on Sony platforms and on computers. Xbox can be the same. You have Epic Games; they have some exclusivity there as well. You have Maxis, which creates some of the sim-based games. So this is an ecosystem. And you even have the likes of some old school players, like even in Blizzard, you have World of Warcraft, StarCraft, and you can just be good at your niche, And yes, if one of the big powerhouses come in, they're gonna take up a lot of users. But the gaming space is vast, it's large, and there's room for multiple studios, at least 10, 20 studios to be successful. And if they run on the blockchain, I mean, that's good for our space. And, NFT and digital rights is coming to video games. It only makes sense. It's just when we knock down that barrier. Right now, gamers are stubborn. They don't want to adopt it because they're tired of these studios and franchises and nickel and diming the users and not giving them anything in return outside of a skin. And then the next franchise sequel comes out and you don't get to use it. You have to buy it all over again. And so the monetization right now is a little sided to corporate. And I think that people just, the regular gamer just looks at it like, yo, man, I'm tired of spending money on this crap. And I know it's going to get worse with NFTs. I see what my friends are doing. But at some point, this thing will come down. People will realize the games provide more value with blockchain, NFT, and rights. And just going to take some time.
Interesting. All right. I'm going to take a look at the chart, Gala chart. Someone had mentioned, should I short Gala? I don't know. I'm not here to tell you what you should do, but I am here to show you what you can do and what the charts are saying. So we broke above this downtrending trend line here, which was right around that 2.8 cent mark. Now, here's what worries me a little bit as far as not Gala, just the price in the very short term is we did not see, and this is on the daily chart, by the way, we did not see that retracement back down to test and build support. So this was a very volatile move to the upside. Now, one of two things can happen, right? We already broke the resistance here at 4.1 cents. The next big level I'd be looking at to the upside is 6.8 cents. We should get rejected there unless more big news breaks out, but more than likely, at some point, we will come back and retest this trend line, which will bring us down to the 2.1 to 2.2 cent region, which at that point, if you're a Gala fan, might be a good time to DCA in. I don't think, unless Bitcoin completely bottoms out to 12 or 14K, that Gala will trade underneath this trend line anytime soon. Again, unless something big happens that's negative, not just in the Gala ecosystem, but in cryptocurrency in general. So as far as should I short, should I long? I think we're kind of in the zone now where I would wait. I would wait if we do. And yeah, seriously, man, you'd wait. I mean, look at these wicks to the upside, right? It just tells you there's a lot of buying pressure coming in, but there's enough sellers to push the price back down from 5 cents back down to the lower 4 cents. And so a lot of volatility, a lot of volume. The RSI is showing overbought. So I'd be careful. I would not be using leverage here. Again, way too volatile. And even if you set a tight stop loss, where you're going to be in the trade for 5 minutes. So yeah.
Yeah, and then just to take a peek at some of the games in their portfolio, you do have Spider Tanks, which is, I think they're
Spider Tanks is live.
Yeah, that's the one that has the most users, the most buzz.
Townstar is probably so. Townstar is a web-based game, so you don't have to download anything to play Townstar. You can just play it off your browser. So Townstar's probably got that was their first one. That's probably their most.
You know, Matt was telling me that they got rid of their town token and now they're going to be using Gala, and so it looks like the Gala team is focused on giving the Gala token as much utility as possible because they understand the inflation rate is extremely high. We're talking 8 million tokens a day. Every day that's released. And so that's what you hear about all the burning. They're going on their own blockchain. Everything is now moving to the Gala token versus having their own native token.
Some other one, this Mirandus has got a lot of buzz
Mirandus
too.
is pretty dope. So I actually watched the preview, and there's a dude named Lycan Warlord. So if you're actually into this, he covers a lot of these. So he has a lot of the NFTs, so he gets early access into all of these. So he actually has gameplay.
I haven't played any of these.
So it's kind of got the.
It was dope.
It's got
like a Morrowind type.
Yeah, the Elder Scroll kind of vibe, open world, medieval times. You can goblins
you play,
around. No, I was checking out the gameplay on it. Honestly, the graphics are a little underwhelming, at least compared to some of the open world medieval times. It seems almost like PlayStation 1 graphics. Maybe PlayStation 2, but not any more than that. That kind of puts perspective to it. So, I think, what you mentioned here with Townstar being a web browser, the same can be said for Walking Dead. This is also a web browser based game. And, unfortunately, you're only going to get so much graphical power out of a web browser. Ideally, you want to have a graphic card if you're going to be doing this on a PC or at least a console with next gen graphics. So, how far can web browser take a game as far as that can be visually appeasing?
You think we'll see a blockchain based gaming system?
You mean for like a console system?
Yeah, console. No?
I think it's going to be. I look at consoles the same way that I look at.
You wouldn't need one. They're just computers.
Yeah, I look at consoles the exact same way that I look at phones. There's no reason to design a blockchain-based phone. You just develop the apps that are blockchain apps. When all of a sudden you had Uber, you didn't need to create an Uber phone. You get what I'm saying? Like, why do we need to create a blockchain phone? Why do you need to create a blockchain console? All you have to do is port your design to the operating system. It's very basic. It's like in blockchain, they just want to recreate everything. Everybody wants to have their own layer one. They don't want to use anybody else's blockchain. We have to create our own blockchain, which creates more vulnerability. You have to make sure that your code is 100% instead of scaling onto somebody else's blockchain, which, it does concern me that Gala's trying to have their own layer one. We saw what happened to Harmony. We saw what happened to Axie Infinity.
They have to. So at the end of the day,
you don't have to. You can use Ethereum. You can use Polygon.
They have to wait for Ethereum to catch up because the problem they wanted to do their own blockchain was because you could not. It was not functional. You were trying to buy an NFT on their chain, and you were paying like $200 in gas fee, bro. I'm telling you, like I stopped using it.
I understand,
because
but
of how
why?
broken ETH was at the time.
Why is that? because of the network congestion. And so if you make your own layer one and you have massive network, you have a ton of people using it as they intend, you're going to run into the same problems. You're going to have throughput and scalability. And right now, nobody's playing the games, so you don't have that problem. But if you go with a chain or with a layer one that has already solved this problem, let's just say you look at Ethereum 2 years from now, 5 years from now, and they're more scalable.
But no one has solved it yet.
Or you
right
use,
now, it's not. No one.
I'd make an argument you can use
NFT
Polygon
gaming right now.
Polygon, you can do it.
I don't know, man.
You
I
can.
haven't seen any NFTs or NFT games on Polygon that are actually functional with that throughput that you need.
It's about the throughput, transaction speed, and how many users can actively use the network at one point in time.
I think
with
we'll get
Polygon,
there.
With Polygon, you see that they're that corporations are using it because they understand if they plug their network into the Polygon network, that they can efficiently run at scale, that can operate the companies that they partner with. Disney is a great example. How many users do you think are plugging into Disney?
Disney using Immutable X?
Disney is partnered with Polygon.
Because last I remember, they were with Immutable X on what's that NFT site? I have the app.
I think I think the different partnerships, they use different blockchains. I don't think they're pigeonholed into one.
Well, that's fair, but what I'm saying is that none of them are up to speed yet.
I find it a concern when if you have a layer one, you have to design it from top to bottom with zero flaws, zero vulnerabilities. And you know what?
Is it a risk that'll pay off?
There is upside. I'm not saying that it's stupid. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just saying that, like, from an analytical viewpoint, with me being with my own personal money, it is something you should think about. And if you don't think about it, you blindly say, "Hey, Gala's got this." I mean, there is a graveyard of layer ones. And you know what? They're a gaming franchise. I don't know if they're an amazing, perfectly ran layer one franchise or company. And I would hope they would do their research. I hope they get it done. I would assume that it would run perfectly.
This is an interesting conversation, and I want to know what the chat thinks. Put a 1 if you think it's a good idea that Gala is doing their own blockchain. They want to be their own layer one. Put a 2 if you think it's a bad move. Good move.
Axie Infinity, man.
It's an interesting conversation, like I said.
DeFi Kingdoms
have a ton of moving parts though either, and it's
in DeFi Kingdoms. They were running on Harmony.
Haven't played that one.
I'm just saying that even if you disagree with me, take it into consideration. This is a potential that it could not go as planned. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, that's fair. And they could switch it over to Polygon, and that could be the solution. But at their current situation, it doesn't work.
They already left Ethereum. There's no point in leaving Ethereum, creating your own, and then going back to, you know what I mean? Like, at this point, you've already committed. You might as well go that route. I'm just saying that, like, you should, in your own personal, like, thought process and an investment thesis, think about the fact that, hey, they are layer one, and, you know, there are some potentials for downside risk in running your own layer one. And perhaps if you're planning on getting into Gala, maybe wait it out. You look at their roadmap for layer one, make sure they go through some pivotal steps in the roadmap. And then perhaps later on, after it's been tested and prodded at, maybe it's a good time then. But then at that point, maybe the entry point at sub 5 cents is gone. So I don't know. I'm just saying that consider it. Think about it. You know, use all of your tools as research, and don't just blindly FOMO into something for the simple fact of its portfolio. Look what the company is doing, and look at their roadmap, because history has shown some bad examples.
Cryptic Mushroom said, "Does Gala even have the developers for this?" Well, guess what? We have Chatbot now, and literally Rob and I were talking about this last night. Someone put the Ethereum open source code and said find vulnerabilities, and they did, right?
Yeah. So one of the some big developer, he wasn't even a hacker. He put in an ERC20 blockchain code into the chatbot and said, "Can you find vulnerabilities?" And it spit out an exploit on the ERC20 based contract. And so this is only the beginning of AI-based software, And so now, not only do you have the degen in the bottom of the basement eating Cheetos, attacking code, but now you also have the world's strongest computer with all of the human spoken data and knowledge to attack a
What's
network.
wrong with eating Cheetos, man?
I'm saying, man.
You have the Cheeto eaters using the AI code.
Yeah. Yeah, you just basically just leveled
Keyboard
up,
sales are going up,
leveled up
guys.
the hackers as well.
Keyboard
so.
sales are going up. All right. Speaking of sales, actually not a good segue, but we're going to segue into Cameron Winklevoss, Gemini, DCG, Barry Silbert. So first and foremost, Cameron Winklevoss penned an open letter to the board of DCG saying there is no path forward as long as the founder and CEO, Barry Silbert, remains with DCG. He's penned an open letter saying Barry was unfit to run the company. In the January 10th letter, Winklevoss claims Silbert and Genesis Global had defrauded more than 340,000 users who were part of Gemini's Earn program. He claims Silbert, DCG, and Genesis orchestrated a carefully crafted campaign of lies that started in July of 2022 in an effort to show DCG had injected the funds into Genesis by including a 10-year promissory note as part of its assets.
You live on a throne of lies.
On the
You
back.
smell like beef and cheese.
On the back of this news, Gemini has officially terminated its crypto yield product, amping up their battle with Genesis. What does this mean? The Winklevoss twins crypto exchange Gemini escalated its dispute with DCG, Genesis Global Trading. Its partner on a crypto lending product pitched to small investors by terminating a key aspect of their relationship, which is their master loan agreement. This officially terminates the Earn program and requires Genesis to return all outstanding assets in the program. According to the email, existing redemption requests are not impacted and continue to await fulfillment by Genesis. So, sounds more like a legal avenue they're taking.
Yeah.
But. I asked this question on Ben's show, and I want to ask it again because I think it was a good one. On the Gemini Earn website, and I couldn't find it now, but it said, tells you, breaks it down how it works. It also said we use third-party vendors and it names Genesis Global. But it also says that we, Gemini, do due diligence and we check in with these companies every few months or so to make sure that they're up to standards and up to par. How much blame does Gemini and the Winklevoss twins deserve for not doing the due diligence? In that in the article I just read, they said that since July of 2022, it's been this fraud and lies and this and that. Well,
I think, unfortunately, you had a situation where everyone was over leveraged. Everyone was taking on undue risk, at least most of the companies that these crypto exchanges worked with. And I think it was like, hey, that's just the environment we live in. It doesn't go under. It's just manipulated. And I think they ignored it. And is it their fault? I mean, it's obvious they ignored it, right? They knew that books weren't 100% lined up, right?
yeah. Or they did not just,
Or
they
at
didn't
least
dig deep enough.
Or at least they understood, and it was public, we discussed it here, that Genesis had exposure to FTX, right?
And 3AC.
And Three Arrows Capital. So they knew that they had some liability issues, because if they lost money to both of those collapses, it's pretty safe to assume it wasn't 100% their own personal capital, right?
I mean, yeah,
they're generating
you would assume.
yield. They're generating yield. So we know what companies do when they're literally just promoting, hey, we'll borrow your tokens, we'll generate yield for you.
They're going to lend them out.
You're going to lend them out. And it's not like it's secret. It wasn't even like against the.
No, they were upfront about it.
It was upfront.
Yeah.
It was written in the terms of service. So they knew what was going on. And I'm sure they knew more than the general public knew, and so they chose to ignore it. Now it's interesting because that first letter, they were referencing all of these hardworking people that had lost their savings. They had referenced teachers and people that had stuck their life savings in there. You know, where was that compassion when you knew this was going on? Did you not at that time care about the teacher and the person that lost their life savings? because they pinned an open letter to Barry first and referenced those professions and those life savings getting blown out. And now, but at the time when they knew that there was some insolvency concerns, at least some leverage concerns that they were exposed to, I don't know, man. And I question their motivation behind these letters. I think it's all for court. I think it's all for show. Really do. Do you think? I think it's all to take to the court system.
I think
it's all for PR. I think they knew what was going to happen, or I think they knew the risk. They ignored it, and when it fell apart, they're trying to write these little PR letters to be like, "Shame on you! You screwed us. You screwed the customers." I think they knew. I think they knew the risk.
They're trying to get ahead. They're trying to get ahead, and they're trying to, because public perception, it means a lot, and so they're trying to pin everything on Barry Silbert and DCG. But again, according to your own website and your own, not necessarily terms of services, but your disclaimers, you guys were supposed to be doing due diligence. And you knew the exposure to 3AC back in May. You knew it was $2.4 billion. And even if Barry Silbert plugged the hole, there was still $1.2 billion left. Out of all the liquidation, there was $1.2 billion left of a hole. You come out and now say you faked it. Well, you're telling me you didn't know they faked it back then? You didn't bother to be like, hey, it's just, I feel like these people, they don't care. Obviously, no one's going to care about your money more than you, which is why if you can't trust these companies to do due diligence on your behalf, you got to do it yourself. And of course, it's a stretch saying, well, everyone should, and Gemini should have known that Genesis handles their money. They should have known this happened. They should have. I'm not saying that's very practical, but you got to be a little more active in research. You have to try to keep your ear to these things. That is why, if you're tuning out during these times, you're going to end up losing. Here's my next question.
Well, let's also ask the chat real quick before you get to that one.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Put a 1 in the chat if you think these letters are genuine and that they're blindsided by the EARN program closing down. And they're just naturally upset and they're expressing concern. Put a 2 in the chat. If they knew this damn thing was going to blow up anyways, they ignored it and they were just trying not to take a PR black eye by saying, hey, the guys we partnered with might be insolvent. We don't know. Like, should they have done more? Put a 2 in the chat. 1, they were clueless and just as surprised as the users. 2, if they knew what the hell was going on and they just kept their mouth shut.
I think another good one is how much blame does Gemini deserve, right? They're putting all of this on Barry Silbert, DCG, and Genesis, but how much blame should they receive?
Yeah.
Interesting question.
And then also just a little quick shout out to the chat real quick. We do have the number 1, Channing S. We got Beachhead, Pauline's, West End, Foxfire, Ray G, Cisco, Biavik, Stackmaster Poodles. We got High Mix, Jovan, Blockchain Dave, Rosen, A-Train, and to all of you, hola! Welcome. And also Crypto Break.
I really like what Sean C. wrote. He said, it's all for show from the Winklevoss twins. I trust the Olsen twins more with my crypto.
You leave the Olsen twins out of this?
And also Infinite Crypto's in here. Good to see you, brother.
What's up, Infinite?
One of our friends and also content creator.
Yes. The number 2. Magic number 2. All right. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't see a single one in there. Nobody.
Nobody.
Trusts we've all seen
let me ask
what
this
is
question.
the Olsen twins doing right now?
Stop. Just, I'm about to ask you a question. Will you pay attention for a second?
I'm going to say it rhymes with Shmo Shmain.
You're so stupid. All right, Robin. Is exchange earn programs, staking and on an exchange, are those days gone?
For the time being.
What do you think needs to happen for you to feel more comfortable leaving your coin staked on an exchange?
I don't do the staking thing, man. I know I'm leaving money on the table when it comes to liquid staking or on-chain staking.
What about Cardano? Have you been doing that?
I
You could do it directly from the wallet.
I have the Data Loose wallet. I've used it.
Yeah, but that's not the question. No. The question is not staking on chain. The question is staking.
Well, to answer your question, I don't have any interest in doing it. I have zero interest in it. I don't think I will ever stake. You know what? I've never in my history staked on any exchange or any platform outside of the layer 1. I haven't.
So for
and
the
I don't
people
have
that,
any interest.
So for the people that do, what do you
You're
think
taking
needs to
risk?
Happen? Okay, what do you think needs to happen?
You're taking risk. You understand, digest, ask yourself: is that 2.5 to 28% return, depending on your risk appetite and which tokens you put up? Is that worth the risk of losing your tokens? And if it's worth it to you, then go ahead. You know what? You can take on risk here in Vegas. You can go play something that has, a certain return, but you also have a risk of losing everything. It's no different. The odds might be not quite as dramatic as a slot machine, but they are there. So,
Leber said, "Why run in front of a train for peanuts?" That's a good analogy. Lesson learned last year. Hey man, some lessons are more expensive than others, but as long as you learn from that lesson.
I've said it multiple times here. Dude, if you want some gains, just buy Bitcoin at the bottom and sell it in a year. You don't get returns off of staking immediately. It's not like you stake right now and all of a sudden 3 months from now you have some crazy returns. These are annual returns. Annual. So that's a 3 to 10% return on most of the exchanges annually. I'm sorry, you will see more returns buying $1,000 worth of Bitcoin and sitting on it for a year. 1 year from now in 2024, Bitcoin will be more than 3% up. I'm sorry, it will. So why?
It might.
And if it isn't, wait another 6 months. Like, you know what I mean? And
so you're saying put money in a stable coin versus...
No, I'm saying that if you're looking to generate yield, staking on an exchange is highly risky, and in the crypto ecosystem, simply dollar cost averaging in and out outperforms the returns from a stupid ass APY. It does. Now, if we were at the top of the bull market, Bitcoin 60,000, that's a different game. But at least for the next year and a half, no reason to touch it.
Did they shut down the Earn program on Coinbase? They shut it down.
They never launched.
They never had one.
They tried to, and then the SEC came and shut it down.
The SEC threatened to sue them.
Well, you can still earn interest on Tezos, Cardano, Algorand. They still pay interest on that, but you don't have to lock it up or put it in there. And it's not anything you have to do. It's just you buy Algorand, you buy Tezos on there. It's in your wallet on Coinbase, and they just pay you interest on it.
Yeah, they
basically stake it on chain, and then
we don't know what they do.
Yeah,
but you assume they do.
Yeah. And they do that with Ethereum right now. Like, so they're staking a large part of their Ethereum. They're the largest Ethereum staking wallet address, but you personally are not staking it through Coinbase's website.
Lido is the number one.
Yeah. So,
all right. Speaking of Coinbase, I'm happy you guys brought that up because the next piece of news we're covering is Coinbase will chop 20% of its staff in a second round of big job cuts, as its boss, Brian Armstrong, blames unscrupulous actors for putting pressure on crypto. Now, 20% does represent 900 people. That's a lot, 950 jobs in a bid to reduce its operating expenses.
All those unscrupulouses out there.
A lot of unscrupuli.
Can we send out a request to get some of these employees over here? A little insight on the game.
Can't pay them.
Yeah. Well, they got a severance package. They got a severance package to be like, hey man,
Yeah,
want a little transition?
Severance
Come over here to Sin City Crypto?
Severance package is set
I wouldn't
to be
do it.
Upwards of $160 million. Is this the right move, or does this say Coinbase is in trouble?
I think this is the natural flow of business that has swings in market demand. It's no different than a retail store hiring more employees during the Christmas season and then laying them off shortly thereafter. You can look at, instead of hey, we need you for 2 months during the year, the business model is, hey, we need you for 8 months or 15 months during the 4 years. And it's at the moment a cycle. They pile in. You need a bunch of extra workers. Bear market comes, you lay people off.
That's
Typical business.
every business.
Yeah. Typical
if you-
business strategy. So
Yeah, look across the highlights right now and all the news articles. Everyone's laying people off. Meta laid off a ton of people. Dude, Amazon's laying off people. I mean, there were, in this holiday season, there was like delivery companies laying off people right in the middle of. I mean, it's not good. To think that it's somehow relegated to crypto specifically and only, not at all. This is like this is an industry wide. This is just a. This is what
Which I don't know if
happens
that's
when we're going
I don't know if it's necessarily obviously people losing jobs, but we know that the supply demand for jobs, right? Jobs available versus how many workers are applying for jobs is so off kilter. There's like 2.5 jobs to every one person that is able or wants to work. And that's not good. And what does that do? That drives wages up as companies have to offer more money to accrue talent to their teams, which also means they pass that extra expense onto you, the consumer, in form of increasing product prices. All right. So have any of you in this room held XRP token since 2020? Rocco? That's a no. Robin?
I've owned it, just not at that particular time window.
I did.
Did you get the flare drop?
Yeah, only the 15% off of it.
Did you sell it?
No, I did not. Even because the only one that was available was at the beginning. The B-True was an IO. It wasn't even.
Well, now it's on Kraken and OKX and Mexi Global.
Yeah, but the number was completely different. I don't think that's. I think that has to settle a little bit first before.
Oh, the dust is settling. It's down like 90%.
Does it have functionality? Is this like what you use?
It's a layer 2 EVM compatible.
Is this like what you would use to actually do their NFTs and stuff? I need to look more into it.
I haven't looked 100% into it. I just know it's an EVM. It's a layer 2. I don't know. But I also know that a lot of people got free money. And if you cashed out right at the top, good for you. They kicked off for eligible XRP holders. So more than 2 years after a snapshot of XRP holders was taken, Flare finally began airdropping tokens. Flare is a layer 1, my bad, I said layer 2. Layer 1 EVM blockchain that aims to bring smart contract compatibility to the Ripple network. So it is currently down like 83 to 90%. We do know that if you held XRP as of December 2020, you did get airdropped a certain percentage of Flare tokens. And so if you got airdropped Flare tokens, put a 1 in the chat.
What's the price?
I did not.
But that's the whole idea. If this is why they only drop 15% out of it. The rest is going to be diluted in 36 months. So otherwise, that's exactly what they want to avoid. That everybody.
I mean, they try to avoid it, but sell-off is still there.
Yeah, but 15%.
Well, yeah, it's free. I mean, if you if you get it for free, what's the harm in selling it?
Yeah.
Flare is at 3.7 cents, down 53% over the last 24 hours. So yeah, it got all the way up to 7 cents. I believe at some point it was at 15 cents, if I'm not mistaken.
But it's not. It's not any different.
Cents.
This isn't any different than an initial listing, an ICO, where once the coins hit the market, the price is going to drop. I think this is expected. I don't think this is like, oh man, the project failed or underperformed. Yeah. I think they knew in airdropping that this was going to happen. And you know what? It's probably a good idea to do this during a bear market and then kind of letting the price stabilize over the next year and a half until we get back into the parabolic run up. Kind of makes sense. The Flare drop had been delayed several times. It was rumored to be dropped back in the last bull market run, and perhaps they intentionally pushed it out so that way there wasn't so much price movement and kind of bad stigma behind it. Now, I'm excited for Flare. XRP, essentially the XRP is more or less for institutions and banks and to facilitate cross-border transactions. And that's really what it's designed for. I know there have been some NFT talks and development, but this seems to be a little bit more well-suited for smart contracts. It seems to be the next evolution in Ripple's smart contract.
Do you think Sam Bankman-Fried is heavily sweating in the dungeon of his parents' house, thinking, "Oh my God, I could have arbitraged and I could have just manipulated this to death and made so much"?
I don't
money?
even think he's sweating. I think he's literally has a VPN on, and I'm not even joking. I think he has a VPN on, and I think that he has access to crypto, and he is actively trading and making moves. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's trading, selling, or moving around tokens, especially with this airdrop. And I'm sure he has exposure to XRP. I'm sure he's probably got some exposure to Flare. And you know what? If he's begging the courts to get his Robinhood stocks back to sell for his criminal defense, if he doesn't get it there, you know he's going to try to generate capital. He's not gonna not pay his lawyers and go and not show up to court with lawyers. And so if that's the case, you got to sell something. You got to trade something. And if you don't want all these eyes on you, you send it to a wallet address nobody can track, VPN it, and trade from your parents' basement.
Metropolis World said we will be, or you said
Channing,
Channing said Metropolis World will be running on Flare Network. It's the first interoperable metaverse. We interviewed the CEOs last year.
cool.
Yeah.
We haven't looked into it. I haven't.
Also, Hit Network says, thanks for hosting the BitBoy channel today. Yeah, man, it's always a pleasure. Ben was in the studio. Always great show, man. Great show when he's in here. It's entertaining. It's good to see a master at work, you know. We've done
Thank
this
you, Robin.
for
I appreciate that.
we've done this for a little over a year. You see somebody that's been doing it for as long as Ben. You take away, you're like, oh, okay. Like it.
I will say this, and Ben, I hope you're watching. I tend to moderate a lot because I'm a little more structured. And so I always thought it was bad trying to corral Robin back into the conversation because he goes off the freeway 16 times. Hit the like button! Hit the like button! He also has Tourette's. But being here on the show and trying to moderate Ben, wow.
he cannot be contained.
Definitely harder. So, Robin, I just want to say I appreciate you.
Thanks, man.
You're still annoying, but
Thanks, man.
but we had a lot of fun today. So, all right, let's talk about TC. What do I mean by TC? Not Texas Christian University, but that would be TCU. Tornado Cash. So this is interesting. Sanctions couldn't pull the plug on Tornado Cash, says Chainalysis. This is sourced from Cointelegraph. Sanctions aimed at decentralized crypto mixer Tornado Cash weren't able to completely cut off its usage. We talked about this when this first happened, when OFAC came out on August 8th and said, we are putting this on the do not whatever list, the bad list, the naughty list, the you're getting cold for Christmas list. And we said, you cannot stop a freaking code unless you shut the internet down. And here we are. It only took them 6 months to realize that Sin City Crypto was right. And so were all the other people sounding the horn on the same exact thing. Chainalysis said the sanctions did have some effect, causing total inflows to the mixer to drop by 68% in the 30 days after the sanctions came into force. However, the firm also emphasized that because Tornado Cash is a smart contract-based decentralized platform, quote, no person or organization can pull the plug as easily on Tornado Cash as they could with a centralized service. Chainalysis also explained that while sanctions applied to Tornado Cash saw its front-end website taken down, its smart contracts can run indefinitely, meaning anyone can still technically use it at any time. This is what probably scares the politicians, the governments, right? When you take control, right? Because what does every government want? What does every company, anything, if you are in control, you're good, especially governments. And when it's out of their control, something like an open source code or a decentralized protocol, it scares the crap out of them. And so I wonder what the reaction to this is going to be, if there is going to be one. What are your thoughts, Rob?
it's not surprising that politicians think they can control everything, and you just can't. And you know what? This actually isn't the first time their ignorance has been shot down. But yeah, they did it with the rise of the internet age. There was talks of banning the internet or trying to control it. And on top of that, there was also I remember watching some interviews of top CEOs trying to buy the internet. Like literally, like, hey, can we just buy this thing? Like, it doesn't work that way. And you're seeing the same thing now.
They kind of did. They tried.
Well, it is definitely monetized, yeah. But yeah, some people just wanted to monopolize and just buy the internet. You know, now it's still a free market, and free markets will coagulate into a few major companies. I think that's just how free markets work. And as you grow, you become more efficient and you can step on competition. But yeah, there were some people that just wanted to outright purchase the internet. Like
Bitcoin is it's like the internet. It's a virus that makes it decentralized in a way that's never been before.
Yeah, and you can't control Bitcoin unless you control the internet. So you know we've seen China, for example.
China.
We've seen them. We've seen China basically have a border around their internet for their citizens, and so they pretty much decide what content you can use, and the internet only works within the country space. There are exceptions and VPNs and people getting out of the internet, but generally speaking, you don't get exposure to the World Wide Web in China. And so if they want to block Bitcoin, they essentially can, but without complete control of the internet. You can't control decentralization that runs on the internet. You can't control Bitcoin. You cannot control Tornado Cash. And I think this is something that politicians are slowly realizing, and you either embrace it or, hey, you can try to fight an uphill battle that you're not going to win.
Do you think they realize they're probably doing more harm than good?
No, I think they think they're fighting a just cause. I don't think that Elizabeth Warren and the politicians that fight crypto and they're trying to pass legislation, I don't think that they think they're fighting a losing battle. I think they literally think that, hey, I just got to figure out how to ban this thing. It just seems difficult, but we're going to find a way. And I think they truly believe that.
It was like putting up a fence in a river and thinking that you're going to stop the water.
Yeah, but you get enough beavers, you throw some logs in there and you figure it out, man,
Nice beaver. When I say... Sorry. Guys,
that was a good one.
Robin, when I say the term House of Lords, what's the first thing that
Game
comes
of Thrones?
Yes. But we're not talking about those House of Lords. We're talking about the UK Parliament, the House of Lords members. I thought this was a joke. And of course, I'm not an expert in foreign policy here. What the House of Lords? Come on. Anyways, they're calling for crypto regulation beyond the current financial bill in the UK. Now remember, when Liz Truss came in, right? The former, she said, "Oh, crypto, we want to be the hub, the center for blockchain and cryptocurrency." And then she left. And then the new guy came in, forget what his name was. He also said, "Well, we like crypto. We like crypto." Well, I don't know. Do they like crypto? The Financial Services and Markets Bill, which sweeps part of crypto into financial regulation, came under scrutiny in the UK Parliament, where members of the House of Lords called for greater regulation for crypto assets. This was a quote. "The recent collapse of FTX has demonstrated both the volatility of the market and the vulnerability to fraud," said Alan Smith, who is a member of the House of Lords and also was featured in season 2. And one of the voices calling for greater crypto regulation, he compared crypto to online gambling. Some members noted that crypto will need a whole new regulatory approach. The constant evolution of digital assets represent not just a financial revolution, but also a technological and conceptual revolution that will not simply fit into existing regulatory categories and approaches. I have been saying this for the longest time, and I keep getting pushback, not from this specific thing, but Gary Gensler, he keeps saying, it's there. The regulation is there. The guidance is there. No, it's not there.
What is it?
Bro, like, okay, look, the whole thing with crypto is a casino and there's fraud. Really, if you don't understand crypto and you just read headlines, you'd probably think the same thing. The guy manipulated the markets, borrowed $10 billion with a fake token they printed out of thin air. What are people who don't know what truly happened? What do you think their narrative is? And so we got to do a better job of educating people. How do we educate people? We get people in here.
You know what I'm trying to figure out, man?
What?
Is how the hell does my iWatch know I'm standing up? Because it says I'm doing really good on my standing goal. Like, how does it not know that I'm at a standing desk versus a sitting desk?
Probably because the velocity of your...
It's on my wrist, man. My wrist, like, is there like altitude thing here?
Yeah, like an airplane altitude. I've been infatuated with airplanes lately. I don't know why.
Yeah, and this guy, like, we do our research on our on our YouTube channel.
I switched to premium. Okay, fine.
It's all like crypto stuff. And all of a sudden, I'm getting suggested airplane crash videos and how a turbine engine works. And I'm like, bro, I got to sit here and yell at him. Like, stop watching your airline videos on the YouTube account.
I've loved
because I'm trying to do research and the algorithm's all messed up now.
Yeah, so we had our YouTube premium benefits on our Sin City Crypto, but I moved those to my personal account.
He was like, well, it has no ads. I was like, David, I'm like, sign up for the YouTube premium on your personal account.
Yeah, don't worry. I canceled the one on our business account. It's fine.
Dude, I have my YouTube connected to my TV, and my wife watches Sims videos. So yeah, I'll get like suggested Sims videos now. We set it up for my father-in-law, and he was like, then I get golf tips suggested. I'm like, I can't have my account on the TV.
If you see any soccer on there, it's my son. Yes. All right, that's it, guys. Go follow us on social media. We're very active on Twitter at Sin City Crypto 1. We do have the blue check mark, which we pay $11 a month for. Also, go join our community ran Discord. Where the hell is Marky Mark? Where the hell is Jimmy? Where the hell is Brokyoshi? Where you guys at, man? Anyways, go check out our Sin City merch store. If you're a whale member, you get 10% off for as long as you are a whale member. And if you want to support the channel and become a member, the description or the link to that is in the description of this video. With that being said, Rocco! He does it on purpose.
It's a dramatic pause,
he does it on purpose.
He's just trying to build it up for you.
You did it on purpose, didn't you? You did it on purpose, didn't you?
Do it again.
I don't want to do it again. It's too late. Anyways, guys, we love you. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. On behalf of myself, Robin, Kyler, and unfortunately Rocco, we love you. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.